Welcome to Further Solutions Academy. Further Solutions Academy. Encourage us more to share our video anywhere you see it, and also subscribe. If you have not subscribed before, kindly press your subscribe button for direct updates. At this point, we have over 300 videos on our channel. It means you can come here and learn any topic of your choice, any topic on mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Please kindly subscribe. And also, if you want to comment, you want to reach us, you can comment below, or you make use of this line, this number. Now, with this number, you can call us, you can WhatsApp us, and then lastly, you can do Telegram. Via Telegram also is allowed. Either of the three, you are good to go. On this video, I'll be walking you through on these two samples hypothesis testing. Two sample hypothesis testing. Now, that is what we are trying to work on. By the end of this video, you will understand everything about hypothesis testing. But normally, I'll be on Z testing. We have two of them. We have T and we have ZTest, and we have ZTest. Now, I'll be working on this part of ZTest on this video. By the next video, I'll work on the T-test. By the end of this video, you will understand Z-test very well. Now, when we talk about hypothesis testing, number one, if there are two of them, we are talking about two of n, which is our number will be 2. We are sampling with two things. Now, it means number one, we have to have our H0 and H1, anyhow you call it. But take note of this very very important information. Now, if it is two tests, the first thing you have to watch out for, maybe you will have to know that is a Z-test or T-test. Number one, you have to understand that if my N1 plus N2 is greater than 32. Now, if it is greater than 32, it means I'm talking about Z-test. Z-test. But another one, if my N1 plus N2 is less than 32, it means I'm talking about what? I'll be working on T-test. T-test. That is very, very important. Now, before you lay your hand on any particular question or any problem, the first thing you have to watch out for, look at the numbers, which is the total number given to you, and the second number, add them together. If they are greater than 32, it means you are working on what? Z-test. And if the numbers are less than 32, you are working on the T-test. Very, very important. Now, I said that I'll be working on a Z-test. That is the condition behind it. Please take note of this condition. It's very, very important. Now, before I move further, when we talk about Z-test, I'll be working on Z-test. Let me put it there, Z-test, so my brain will be on Z-test. Now, if I'm talking about Z-test, the first thing you need to understand that let me quickly explain what is called H0 and H1. Now, H0 is just like we are talking about mild 1 equals to mild 2. That is my H0. Now, my H1, we are just like this one is turning out as what? H1 is not equals to H2. Now, this one in mathematics, in our algebra, you know the condition behind this thing. It carry along what is called inequality, greater, less, and other things. You have to understand this. That is what is called hypothesis testing. And also, take note of this also before I move on to the. Now, the formula for Z-test. Z-test there are tables for Z-test. Now, my own material here, I won't say more, I won't do much on that area, but in my material here, normally we have this type of table for Z-test. We have one tail and two tail table. Now, I will explain that through example, which is the table, which is you have to get your critical value, and we have Z table and Z calculated. Those two things are very, very important. Now, take note of that. Now, if I'm talking about Z-test, which I've told you that my N1 plus N2 will be greater than 32, which I've told you earlier. Now, this means my Z-test will be equals to of 1 minus of 2 divided by lambda square 1 divided by N1 plus of 2 squared divided by N2 all root. That is what we need to know. For this and this, 1 and 2, sorry, are known. Now, that is for them to be known. Now, for them to not to be unknown, if not to be unknown, sorry, let me to mind my writing. It means I'll be talking about Z equals to this minus Z, 2 divided by root of S square 1 divided by N1 plus S squared 2 divided by what? N2. Now, that is very, very important. Now, this is the formula for what? Z-test. This is the formula for Z-test. Please take note of this formula very well. Now, step in solving the step. Let me show you the steps. Now, steps to be covered. Steps to be covered when you are solving. Number 1, you state the hypothesis and identify the claim. That is very good. Number 2, find the critical values you might want to draw it. You might want to draw it, which is very, very, very important. Number 3. Now, number 3, compute the text, which is statistics value. Number 4, make the decision. Make this decision to reject or not to reject. Not to reject, or you accept, anyhow, not to reject the new hypothesis. Now, those are the things that we need to understand. Now, state the hypothesis and the claim. I think I've explained that we're talking about H0 and H1. Please take note of that, H0 and H1. Now, number 2, find the critical value you might draw. You want to draw it. Now, this time around, drawing it just like we're having something like this, and something like this. Now, plus or minus, this is going to be a 0, and we are having a minus value and plus value. Now you can put the significant value. You know, significant value as far as two tail is concerned, it means it will be lambda all over 2. It means your significant value will be divided by 2. Now anything you have, it means minus lambda divided by 2 and minus lambda divided by 2. And here, which is, sorry, I have to draw this thing very well, is what I'm going to be working on as far as this video is concerned. Let me quickly explain it very well. Now I'm trying to explain this area. Now this is how it always be. This is how it always be. Now this is how it always be. I'm drawing now. Now this is minus lambda all over 2. It means lambda all over 2. And I will explain with example now. Now, your table of value. Your table of value, I've showed you earlier on the table. The table value will be here. Minus the value and positive the value. Now, it means we are talking about plus or minus. Now, this is what is called critical value. This is what is called critical value. Now, at this point, I'm drawing it, which you might and you may not, which is very, very important. Now, compute the test statistic value, which is the one formula I just gave to you now. Your conclusion. Now, make the decision to reject or not to reject, which I can call it, you can also call it accept the hypothesis, non-hypothesis. Now, that is very, very important. What you are trying to say there is that we have, if my Z calculated less than Z table. Now, and if my Z calculated greater than Z table. Now, it means I will draw my conclusion from here. I will draw my conclusion from what? From here, which is what? Accept and reject. Now, I think with this, I think it's very good. We are good to go. With what I've given now, I will give example to illustrate my point. Okay, now I will give example to illustrate the point on this part. Please take note of these steps I just wrote. Now I'm cleaning now. Take note of them very well. With the help of example, you'll be able to understand better. You'll be able to understand. Permit me to rub all, because I'll be using all the parts of over the part of the body. But okay. Okay, now look at this question. Look at this problem. Now it's a problem because it will really help us to explain. I will use it to explain what I've been explaining since. Now this question says the student, do the student of PS193 and the student of PS194 meets in average the sample amount of school days. Now, test at 0.01 significant level, which is very, very important. This value is very, very important. PS193 student average number of days absent is this, which is 15. Standard deviation is 50 and number is 100. PS194 average number of days absent is what? Is 14. Standard deviation is 4, while the number is what? Is 80. Now, that is very important. First thing you need to consider is a two-tail test. Is a two-tail testing of hypothesis. Number one, we have 1 and 2 because we're having PS193 and PS194. Please take note of that. Very important. Solution to this problem. Now, how do I go? The first thing I need to understand is very important. Note that N1 plus N2, can it be greater than 32? If it is yes, you are running to what? ZTest, which is ZTest. Now, since is, you have been what? Since is, it means Z, not ZTest, ZTest. We are running towards the ZTest. Now, what is my ZTest? My ZTest lets me to know that we have mu minus this divided by square. This is 1 minus n1 plus squared and 2 all over n2. Now, if and only if the two are unknown, if these are not unknown, it means for what you are having now and are not unknown, are unknown. Since it's that, it means I will now move by saying that z equals to 1 minus of 2 divided by root of x1 squared divided by n1 plus x2 squared divided by n2. Now, that is what I will run towards, what I will be using. That is very, very important. Now, I want to go to my table now. What I will just do, I will have my lambda divided by 2. My lambda is my significant level, which we are talking about. What of that is 0, which is 0.01 divided by 2, which I'll be having 0.05. 0.005. Now, that is my word, because it is two-tailed. Because it is two-tailed. Two-tailed means there are two numbers. The next thing I will do now is that I will go on my table. This is my table. This is my Z-test table. Now, can you see Z alpha and Z alpha divided by 2. I will now come here and search for is 0.005, which is, look at 0.005 now, which is I'm having 2.576. I'll be having 2.576, which is implies table value now. Now I can see that Z table equals to 2.576. 2.576. That is my Z table. Now I want to draw the critical region. Now this is how I will go for the critical region. Now I'll draw the critical region now. I can put my this one will be my knot, which is the half knot, which is my middle of the stuff. Now here will be minus 2.576 and here will be 2.576. That is very correct. And this one will be minus 0.005 and here will be minus 0.005. That is what I will. Now, by so doing that, I've successfully drawn my critical region. Now, the next thing I will do is what I'm having here. I will go for my Z-test. We all know that from the question we have our this one, mean one, which is average. What is the average of this? Which is the mean? Is that is 15. I have 15, and standard deviation, which is my x1 is 50, and my n1 is 100. That is very, very important. At this point, I don't need to look for degree of freedom, which is it to be under T-test. It's not necessary on Z-test. Now, I'll move on to the N2, Z2 bar equals to, average of it is 14, and what S, and what I have, my S2 is 4, my N2 is 80. Now, that is very, very important. Since I have this, I will now compute. I want to compute what I'm having. Permit me to rub the question because I have everything summarized already. Now, I'm computing now. I want to compute this now. Now, the next thing I will now do is that my z calculated equals to 15 minus 14 divided by root of 5 squared divided by 100 plus 4 squared divided by 80, which also implies 1 divided by root of 25 divided by 100 plus 14 divided by 80. Now, which my z calculated will be equals to 1 divided by root of, this is 0.5 plus 0.2, 0.25 plus 0.2, it will be 0.45, which I will be having, root of them will be 0.6780. Now, I will now mark my z calculated will be equals to 1.491. Now, I have my what? Z calculated as that. Now, what I will just do now is that I will have my z calculated as it, and z table will be equals to 2.576. That is my z table. Now, note, let me restate it now. When you have z calculated is less than z table, which is you will reject. Please reject that non-hypotenuse. Reject non-hypotenuse. If z calculated greater than z table, now this one we will accept non-hypotenuse. Please take note of that. Take note of this. Now this is where your decision lies on. This is where your decision lies on. And now I've taken the region and I've taken everything. It means, look at what we are having now. Sorry, permit me to rub the beginning of the solution, which I will now move today. Now, it means, what am I talking about? What is my z table? This 1.491. It will be is less than 2.576. Is less. Now, since it's less, it means what? Reject. It means what we be having now is that wait, am I making sense here? Okay. Oh, now sorry, this is accept. Sorry, accept, and this one will be what? Reject. Now take note of that. Now, if you have that and that happen, it means you accept and what? Reject. Now, conclusion on this note, on these things, it means do not reject H naught. It means do not reject H naught. It means do not reject H naught. What I means alternative way is what? Accept H naught. Accept H naught. Now, it means the statement will now hold that not enough evidence to support the claim that difference of mean between PS193 and PS194. That is my conclusion. That is all we need to understand. That is all about that. In my next video, I'll be working on ZTest. I'll be working on ZTest. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Don't forget you are home with Further Solutions Academy. You can share. Make sure you share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.